Hello everybody, my name is Oruche Precious, popularly called Mama P. Bad person to bad people. This video, I'm gonna help me share. I'm gonna help me tag Inspector General of Police, IGP Egbetokun. I'm gonna help me ask her what protesters do and where be say they treat them like animals. See that protest is no longer a fundamental human right. Then we know they protest again. If you see the way when they beat this boy to man, people will see I'm not believe say he survived. They were matching his head, eating him with gun. The boy would have run away, oh, but he no say if he run. The other person where they beat, that person not go see who go help him out. If even forget the person, we not go know say they carry the person. So as a popular person, he stay back, follow, collect the person. In fact, they leave the person face out. Beat shege come up for an eye, detain her. What did he do? Free nnamdi kanu. Free nnamdi kanu. That's all. No weapon, no wood, no nothing, just flag. IGP Egbetokun. Do you people know that some persons were not released yesterday? I'm just getting to find out. Because my own was Tuma. Tuma, where's Tuma? They must bring Tuma. Some persons were not released yesterday. Oh. They were not released yesterday. Oh. Everybody come outside. Oh. Everybody tag them. Oh. Some persons were not released yesterday. In fact, to show you how wicked these motherfuckers are, they were not kept in the regular detention facility. Maybe it's a police station now. They keep them for Bianca or keep them for say. No. They took them to the infamous SAS abattoir, where hardened criminals are kept, a place of torture. That's where they took peaceful protesters to. You cannot intimidate us. We are not scared of you. Precious Oruche, I'm not scared of you. What you are doing is wrong. And I'll go kill anybody who support your acts of wickedness towards peaceful protesters. Yes, you have a beef with Sowore because he call you illegal IG, because your tenure expired, they increase them magically, suddenly. If you have a problem with him, have a problem with him. We that are agitating for what we believe in, we have our rights. What you are doing looks personal. You carry on nnamdi kanu, brother. We come out for peaceful demonstration for your own brother. You keep on for SAS abattoir. You carry a lawyer. You keep on for SAS abattoir. And the 11 others, you pack all of them. You keep them where hardened criminals take. Reports reaching me now and said that they carry them, they go Kuje magistrate courts. They are taking them so that from them the alleged grand plan of remanding them in Kuje prison will be achieved. IGP Egbetokun left for me with mans the court. Y'all need to know we are no longer scared. Arrest now water. Attack them! Attack the Nigerian police force! If you have the number of the Nigerian police, call him and tell him to stop this wickedness. Give them no peace. What law have they broken? See some idiots. People when get Kamu for brain, they talk say the case is in court. The court has said releasing them the Kanu. The court says that they don't respect the court. And when they reach poor man, but the law go stand like prick. Tag the IGP. Stop this wickedness, okay? Egbetokun. Even if a message where they send you, they use your mind and your brain. They not say life day after IGP. Not be harassed, don't die. So everybody go leave this position.
Protest and the agitation for the federal government to release nnamdi kanu. How do you view it?
It is a legitimate demand. And I support the protest. Way many Nigerians are in support of the protest. And my position on this has been clear even from when President Buhari forcefully took him away from Kenya. As far as I'm concerned, Nnamdi Kanu did not do anything that will warrant his detention for 5 years. Nnamdi Kanu, there is no evidence to show that he killed anybody. There's no evidence to show that he carried arms.
That's for the court to determine.
And
that is in trial.
But if the courts are keeping somebody for 5 years and they have not been able to try him,
is that illegitimate?
Of course, the court, you can see, hasn't the court decided on this matter when it came to the issue of his bail before the Court of Appeal? He was discharged and acquitted. So as far as I'm concerned, you started with the court. Shehu, I, like most Nigerians, are not persuaded in any manner with what is going in the courts. And I will not also be persuaded whatever judgment, either way or the other, that comes out from the court. Because there is a deliberate attempt, and I say so when President Buhari was in office. There are people who have committed heinous crimes in this country. They have murdered people, they have kidnapped people, they have raped women, they have killed children, they have done all sorts of things. There are people aiding and abetting them. There are people who have gone to their domain, talking with them. We are aware of helicopters dropping food, dropping ammunition in the bush. which of course our security had the capacity to trap. Shehu, Nnamdi Kanu did not do any of those. But he's in detention. What was the cause? And I told President Buhari, it was because of the ancient hatred you have against the Igbos. I told President Buhari when he was in office, my position has not changed. But why I'm worried, you're looking at me. I told him you had ancient hatred against the Igbos. That was why he kept Nnamdi Kanu there. If he was from another tribe, Nnamdi Kanu will not be there.
Are you dispassionate about this, or you are speaking because you are of the same extraction?
Good.
Because there are those who oppose, who don't have the same view as you have it tonight about the situation. There are those who ask questions about those who have taken opportunists on the situation in the South is based on the order, the radio broadcasts, the publications, and the statements that are being made online. You know what has happened with the man in Finland that has been prosecuted. As soon as that man was being prosecuted, the sit-at-home order and some of the mayhem being unleashed by opportunists of the agitation of Biafra stopped. Southeast started experiencing under this government some level of peace.
Shehu. What I'm saying, I said it to a sitting president. Whether people agree or not, you know those that loves you. You know those who hate you. It's not because I'm Igbo. I would have taken the same position if a Yoruba man or Fulani man was involved. My patriotism had no limitations.
What do you think that
Just
government of the day?
You're checking.
Apology. What do you think the government of the day who felt that a region consisting of 5 states is under consistent attack and is in distress and is insecure based on the action and the statement of one person? What do you think they could have done differently?
You see the matter? President Tinubu did not cause this problem. He inherited it. President Tinubu has no hand in the detention of Nnamdi Kanu. But what is curious is why he has not taken steps to get him out. He has no hand. He didn't take him there.
As a lawyer, you think how easy would that be to establish a non-prosecution on a matter of national security?
What is the national security? These are things that people manufacture to justify their positions.
Nnamdi Kanu is facing one of the highest criminal offenses,
and that is what?
Terrorism charges against him.
Can you define terrorism?
No, that's what for the courts to tell.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And all the others, all those people that did all the things I aforementioned, none was charged of terrorism. I have explained to you, Nnamdi Kanu has the right to demand peacefully for anything for his people. I am not saying because I'm from there. And that was why I have said it before you. President Tinubu, get him out of this. He has no hand in it. But he's in a position to rectify it. He knew the truth. Why has he not done so? You see, people are talking about some interest group. People are saying, don't release him. It will disbalance this, disbalance that. The truth is that Nnamdi Kanu, as we said that time to President Buhari, go and discuss with Nnamdi Kanu. You don't have to look for him in this manner. This is somebody, look at what is happening today. He did not talk to anybody. If he was outside, they say he has sponsored everybody. Okay. Showore that is taking this thing on his own now, based on his struggles. He's not an Igbo. You were not able to tell Showore this because he's not Igbo. If it was Iwuanyanwu, you say, hey, he has come. So we should forget about all these mundane issues and considerations. What is bad is bad. What is not good must be condemned no matter who is involved. President Tinubu, yes, we agree there are some people in the southeast who do not want Nnamdi Kanu out.
Really? There are people like that?
I can say it authoritatively.
Who are those?
There are some top businessmen who are involved in businesses in Abuja oil and all that. There are some top politicians who are of the view, and which is correct, that if nnamdi Kanu comes today, there are people whose political career will come to an end permanently without him saying a word. Nnamdi Kanu has been loved by the people. It's like when they were chasing Fubara. You heard me say so here. I told President Tinubu, if the issue about 2027, the person to do business with is Fubara. Are you seeing what is happening there now? They have loved him, they have loved him. Organic support. Nnamdi Kanu need not talk to anybody. That was why I'm sure that is the pressure that the president is having. But the president is number one. He is the president of Nigeria. And he's the only person that can say, stop, it will stop. You don't have to take everything that everybody puts to you, hook, line, and sinker. When the issue started with this insecurity in the southeast, they raided the prison. We came out to say, no, this was not our deeds. Those people were imported. Security came back to realize it. But what happened next? Because they have been exposed, they decided to recruit urchins, non-educated people, people that are not skilled. Locals started trading them.
Are you an IPOB apologist?
No. Look.
I
don't expect you to.
Are you a believer?
No. I don't expect you to come to that question because you know that I believe in Nigeria.
But I'm asking you, you might have your. You might have
no.
You might have an apology for the struggle of Biafra and what IPOB stands for.
I am an open book. You'll always know where I am.
You know the history of IPOB.
I believe.
You know the history of IPOB.
What's the history?
There are those who say legitimately it started off as a peaceful intentions or right about the agitation of the Igbo.
What brought about IPOB?
But what happened?
No, what brought about IPOB? Chenwu, you have a region that has been marginalized. They've been crying for marginalization. It wasn't during the time of President Buhari. President Tinubu has tried to do one or two things, put some infrastructure, move some money there. You say you don't want them. Chenwu, you say you don't like me. You say you don't want me. Okay, allow me to go home. You say I will not go. One must give way. It's either you bring me at the center or you let me go. We should stop pretending in this country. That is what we are talking about. The people are saying they are marginalized.
What is marginalization? Can you mention one thing that...
Let's look at your dictionary.
No.
Say what you know.
In practical terms.
I'm coming. Yeah. There are no federal presence in the southeast. The little we are having now is under Tinubu. Cease. None. No good roads, no infrastructure. You borrowed money. President Buhari borrowed money to build rails up to Mali, another country. None cross the southeast. But we are paying the loan back. We are part and parcel of repaying the loan. And you say it is justice. They have the right to protest. You can't beat and flog a child. You still stop the child from crying.
What would have been
the child must cry.
What would have been the best way to handle that situation?
The best way is for President Tinubu to sit down, look at the whole thing, find a way to balance these things, bring in nnamdi Kanu out, go and do business with nnamdi Kanu. Nobody else can do that, apart from the president. If you subdue this one, expect it again and again and again. You cannot run away from it. Nnamdi Kanu committed no crime. Nnamdi Kanu did nothing. He did not kill anybody. He did not move arms.
It's not for you to decide. The matter is in court.
The truth is naked. I don't need to. The truth is naked.
It is not for you. As a lawyer, you are a servant before the temple of justice.
Let me tell you.
And you know what it means when a matter is before the court. You cannot say Nnamdi Kanu did nothing when the court is still assessing and trying the matter.
It will reach.
No, you are wrong. You are wrong. You are wrong. On that note, you are wrong, sir. No, sir. You are wrong on the note to say. It's a matter of law.
It will get to this.
It's sub judice for you to say.
In this country,
yes, sir.
When people will stop listening to what you are talking about, Let me tell you an experience I had in 1992. I was in NIPS. Part of the programs in NIPS is you have local tours, African tours, and outside tour. My group went to Kanu, Imo, then Cameroon, then Brazil. Was it Brazil? Brazil, yes. When we got to Cameroon, the chief of army staff, General Iwuanyanwu, was given instruction by this Pobia on certain things. Commander-in-Chief, he said, Mr. President, this order is illegal. I will not obey it. In Cameroon. And I'm ready to take the consequences. That thing was boiling before we left for our foreign tours. It will get to a point in this country, unless we redress judiciary, we redress what we are doing to Nigerian people will start taking the laws into their hands.
Just for a moment, sir. The reason why I said you're wrong, sir, and you are a very senior lawyer, you know that when a matter is yet to be decided before the court, you do not take it out of the mouth of justice. Allow the court to have decided the matter. That's why I said this is not a court of law.
The court has decided the issue of Nnamdi Kanu.
Just a moment.
The court has decided.
The court has not freed Nnamdi Kanu.
The court has freed Nnamdi Kanu. The court of appeal.
Just a moment, sir. The court has not decided on the trial of Nnamdi Kanu. It's still in process. The man is still under detention, and the matter is before the court. And I'm saying, as a lawyer, you know that it is not right. It's sub judice for you to now determine for the court on television what the court is still trying at the moment.
Let me tell you. You can do what you like. You can say what you like. I have the right to say I don't believe in what you are doing. It is my inalienable right. You can even sentence me. It is my right. When I see that everything has been compromised in this country, when nobody can get justice, is it in election matters? And that's why there's no development. People are no longer having confidence in what should have given them the hope that tomorrow will be better. Nnamdi Kanu's case is a case that President Tinubu must address. All these things that are happening today, they're not necessary.
How do you think he will address it? Is it a political or judicial manner in which he will address it? How?
You see, even from the time President Buhari was here, leaders of thought in Igbo land met him. He dismissed it, that it is in court. Governors, 5 governors, led by Hope Uzodinma, whom they are accusing now, erroneously. They don't know the job these people are making to get this man out. But you see, people write nonsense in the media.
So Hope Uzodinma is at the forefront of fighting for Nnamdi Kanu.
Hope Uzodinma, Oti, these are the 2 people I know very well.
Abaribe?
No, I'm talking of governors.
Okay.
So, but there are people, just like the job Hope is doing in you, people will come and write nonsense. Imo now is Dubai. But people will go to internet, those who have not come home for more than 5 years, they will read down there and write. They don't know the effort these people are making. They say they have told Tinubu not to release him. They told me not to. Where are your facts? My intel has told me about the governors, and I have told you about politicians and businessmen who are afraid of Nnamdi Kanu's release. Let the president. I told you, Shehu, in this station, if we have decided not to release Nnamdi Kanu, bring his body to Ego Square. Let us use him for barbecue. Let his enemies come and chop from the meat so that we can close this matter permanently.
If you were President Tinubu and you decide to release Nnamdi, how would you go about it?
I will call the Igbo leaders, call the governors, take Nnamdi Kanu, file a knowledge protocol, hand Nnamdi Kanu to them. Let him do any other nonsense when he comes out. I'll call the leaders in Igbo land, call all of them. Nnamdi Kanu did not do anything to deserve all this.
Can the leaders in Igbo land actually curtail any excesses that come from the actions of Nnamdi Kanu? Can they control him?
Did Nnamdi Kanu fall from the sky? Did he fall from the sky?
Does he have people that he listens to?
Even a madman. You can see violent madmen and women. You know they fall in love. You see madmen, you don't hear them. But when they are falling in love, when they see that they are lovers, they will change. They become ice water. He didn't fall from the sky. So every madman has somebody that will talk to him and he will listen.
There are people in Nnamdi Kanu listens to.
Call leaders. File a knowledge. Call leaders in Igbo land. Call leaders of thought. Bring them to the villa. Take your son. We are giving him to you. Release him. All these things happening. If not for the good governors we have in the southeast, nothing will work there. We have the best governors in the region now. I am saying it without hesitation. They are working. From Hope to OT to Mba and all that. If not, they have frustrated the economy of the place. In a year, we lost almost 7 trillion naira. But they are doing their best to put infrastructure, to empower people, and to do those things, health, education. We are people that work hard. People should stop hating us. So, the Igbo man is the easiest person to deal with. If you have his code.
And what is the code of the Igbo man?
It's not for the public. You have to go ahead.
Trade and commerce. It's interesting, and if you look at the conversation I had with Governor Soludo yesterday, and he said something that the Igbo man needs to be more accommodating, that if you are an itinerant person, you cannot be seen in a certain land. But
he was saying they are not accommodating?
No.
Okay.
He was talking about how to resolving this matter, and he said his mind. But in a national security prism, how do you explain it to those who are, because justice, they say, justice is not only to be served on the victim, justice to the public, justice to the person who has been prosecuted. So in that sense, there are those who have been on the receiving side of the actions. And if you look at Simon Ekpa, just for a moment, sir, let me land on the thought. There are people who have been maimed and killed
by
in the name
from Nnamdi Kanu.
No. So that's the question I'm asking.
That is the trajectory
that, just for a moment,
his haters are pushing
there
forward.
are those who ask questions that the intent may be good, but there are opportunities who have taken advantage of it. Take, for example, someone who went to Owerri to visit a former political advisor to Ahmed Gulak, and was maimed on his way to the airport. And you look at someone like Simon Ekpa, and those who say in the manner in which he was prosecuted in Finland has brought some peace in the Southeast region. So from the political point of view, there is what you have said. But the security point of view, how do you deal with it?
Nnamdi Kanu has spoken about Simon Ekpa. Most of the things he did was not on his instructions. He didn't hide it, even in court. You see, when you have situations like this, you have different groups emerging for their own interest. I had not heard, and I did not hear from any Igbo man of substance that supported Simon Ekpa. Nnamdi Kanu has said in court, open court, get me out of here. All this nonsense going on in Igbo land in the southeastern state will stop. Yeah, he didn't press anybody. He's not somebody that will chicken out or be lenient with his presentations. He's straight. When he wants to shoot, he will shoot.
He says that this is an animal kingdom. This is not a nation.
No. It's part of
some of the things that he has said.
You see, there are many people that have, I don't want to start calling names. There are people in this country who say they don't believe in Nigeria. Most of them have found themselves in cabinet. There are many people who have said all sorts of things against Nigeria. It's those of us who believe in this country till tomorrow. Even when IPOP was hot, I was on television, I said it that I am for Nigeria.
The question
a Nigeria that be fair to all.
So let me ask you, will Igbo presidency and Igbo president be a solution to this agitation?
That is not what we are saying. Let me tell you. But for how the whole thing turned around during President Buhari, I am telling you now, and don't misjudge me to say that I say we don't need presidency. The Igbo man, once you are fair to him, what you are giving, according to one of the governors, Enyendebe, that is, you give these people, you give to other people. Once you are keeping to it, Igbo man is not interested who is at the top there. But it has come to the point that they say, hey, everybody, they've gotten this. We are 3 ports at independence. Some have gone twice, gone thrice. We have not gotten it.
Do you think that we need a national reconciliation conference where the issues of Igbo land and the civil war and the aftermath needs to be addressed frontally? Do you think that politically this president can achieve that by healing the wound?
I was a member of the National Conference 2014. If President Buhari had taken the report of that conference, 620 recommendations, unanimously passed, we won't be where we are today.
The NSAS anniversary, the protest, the Free Nnamdi Kanu protest, the response by the security operatives, and what this means ultimately for our nation.
Well, I think the first thing is that we need to learn to pay attention to what the Nigerian state does more than the things that it says. Number one, 5 years ago to the day, yesterday, unknown number of Nigerians were murdered by men purportedly members of their own armed forces. It is a sad commentary on the country we have built that up till today, we can't even agree on the facts because the truth is staring us in the face, but men are still arguing against the grain of the truth. Second thing is that when you pay attention, you see very quickly that after 25 years, going on 26 years, only 26 years now of our democracy, the Nigerian victim, who we euphemistically refer to as citizens, do not even have the right to express their pains. I'm not even talking about their rights, their pains. Yemi Adam Olekun was assaulted at the Lekki toll gate exactly 5 years after the state killed men and women there. Those who were protesting for the freedom of nnamdi Kanu were serially assaulted and tear-gassed in full glare of everybody just yesterday. Meanwhile, in this same blessed country of ours, terrorists, euphemistically referred to as bandits, are riding and trooping colors in full glare of TV cameras, granting interviews and laying down conditions for peace to a state that is complicit in the mess that has overtaken it. But those who are asking that a person who was abducted from another country, been granted bail by the court, they're saying, look, free this man. Even the politics of it should have informed the rulers of Nigeria that it's not good for optics, that you have real terrorists who have borne arms, killed multiple numbers of persons, completely unrepentant, who are busy walking around free. But a man who has carried the genuine grievance of his people, you may not like his methods. That's a different ballgame entirely. But how do you complain about his methods when you are mollycoddling even worse? And you can't even find the grace or the sense, common sense, to bring peace in the country and find a way to free the man. So I am all for the right of citizens to protest, but unfortunately the Nigerian is not a citizen. And the Nigerian state advertises it and reinforces that message every day.
So what do you make of the other line of the argument, just to have a well-rounded conversation that says, well, the court has adjourned till October the 23rd, has asked the defendant, in this case, Mr. Nnamdi Kanu and his lawyers, to defend themselves, and they have until, I think, the 30th, thereabouts. In fact, the court granted the requests for him to have a meeting with his counsel outside of the DSS. I think that should happen today by 12 noon, or between 9 and 12 or thereabouts. So for those who are saying, well, this matter is in court as well, how about really presenting the case in court and ensure that the right things are done from his counsel's case? And I think the jury will be out there. Nigerians will see that you did your work well in the court. And of course, the judgment is left to the honorable justices, but at least you presented your own case. So for those who are saying, allow the court process be exhausted, what do you say to them?
What were these same people saying when Bello Turji is busy rampaging in the northeast and the northwest and is mollycoddled and met by different levels of traditional rulership and even the so-called constituted authority? Local government chairmen are sitting down. Nigeria has created a situation where there seems to be two parallel justice system, how do you tell somebody to keep exercising patience with a judicial system that would appear to be obeyed only when it does as it is told by the executive? The optics does not make for this argument about the existence of a court process. What happened to the court processes in relation to real bandits, terrorists who have taken Nigerians hostage, killed them even in their worship centers? How do you have this conversation about having one subject itself to a justice system that is manifestly unjust and incapable of delivering justice, while telling the other one to ignore the fact that there are worse criminals, even in terms of crime, that are being ignored? It is the double standard that makes this argument difficult to stomach. There is a judicial system, quote and unquote, but that judicial system is completely blind to the crimes of one, and in the other one, you find a dissonance that suggests that, okay, so it's okay to treat this one like this, but it's fine to treat the other one in that manner. It is the uneven scale that makes this argument inequitable to even present in the first place. If everybody are treated the same, then we can have this discussion. But in a situation where it is clear, if it is so nauseatingly clear, it is difficult to even have a rational argument where one is saying that, oh, there is a justice system to which nnamdi kanu must be subjected, but that justice system, it is gagged, it is blindfolded, it is handcuffed in relation to others. That is not a position I'm able to argue. And in any case, who says we can't walk and chew gum at the same time? It is the inalienable right of those who are truly citizens to protest and show their discontent to their rulers. I don't believe that those who protested have done anything wrong. If anything, I think the Nigerian state is advertising serious double standard that is not sustainable.
What do you think this government is scared of? Do you think are the concerns or worries of this government? Because you've talked about this also working politically for it to be released. This would be a major political point for this government. So what are your thoughts about the government's fears?
Well, I think it is easy to elicit the truth when you look at the objective realities. October 20, 2020, Nigerians were protesting peacefully, waving flags, singing national anthem. They were murdered in cold blood. That is the response of the Nigerian state to those demanding to be treated as citizens. The entire protest was end SARS. SARS was the brutal and it remains the brutal arm of the Nigerian government in enforcing impunity in Nigeria. But the state did not address this concern. Instead, it murdered those who were demanding to be treated as citizens. Every time Yele Sowore and his cohorts come out to protest something or the other, you see the Nigerian police in full force, always ready to murder, to kill, to maim, every time Nigerians demand to be treated as citizens. But when you look at this way, the same Nigerian state treats bandits, quote and unquote, terrorists, Fulani militia, murdering Nigerians in the full glare of everyone, you see complicit silence by the state. So it's easy to say what the Nigerian state is scared of. The Nigerian state is scared of being subjected to the rule of law and being accountable to its victims. The only time you see the Nigerian army and police flex muscles is when people are demanding to be treated as citizens. Those who bear arms against the Nigerian state, who murder citizens in their beds, in their homes, on their farms, nothing ever happens to them. The Nigerian state is constantly talking about repentant terrorists. We have the most successful de-radicalization program in the entire wide world. We should be exporting it. But it is in Nigeria that those who presume to demand to be treated decently as human beings, governed and protected by law, are serially assaulted and murdered. Chinedu Agwu is there in prison in Owerri today. What was he saying? He criticized the governor. That is the country we have built. Those who need to be afraid of the Nigerian state are those demanding that it should treat them both as citizens and as human beings. But those who go around marauding and killing Nigerians regardless of their ethnicity or religion, the Nigerian state has no problem with those ones. So the Nigerian state is afraid of having itself yoked to the rule of law and having the citizens, quote and unquote, treated as citizens and no longer as victims. That is what the Nigerian state is afraid of. Accountability in any way, shape or form. It does not like it.
Speaking of Nigerians being killed, another part of this conversation is the number of Nigerians that have met their untimely death at the hands of what police in the southeast will call criminal elements associated with IPOB. And at the heart of this is also the Simon Ekpa factor, and the southeast is divided over this. How much of this would you attribute to the influence of the man that is at the heart of this agitation from yesterday, which would be nnamdi Kanu? Do you believe that it is part of what he should answer to amid this trial?
Well, let me remind us of a Yoruba proverb. He says, you say to the cripple that, oh, your load is askew, and it reminds you that perhaps you should be looking at his feet instead of focusing on his head. Nnamdi Kanu is a reaction to genuine grievances. Ndị Igbo, since the end of the Civil War, has proven to be the testing ground for all the madness that afflicts Nigeria. What was once restricted strictly for the Igbos have now been democratized for everybody. The Nigerian citizen is essentially a Biafran. The question to ask is this: why is Nnamdi Kanu agitating, and why is he supported by the rank and file of Ndị Igbo? A lot of people are unhappy with his methodologies, yes, but there has been nobody who has been able to come out to credibly challenge the genuineness of the grievances that he is fighting for, or rather fighting against. Let us be clear. We can bellyache about his methods from now till kingdom come, and I have been very vocal in condemning his method. But nobody in their right mind can argue against the fact that Ndị Igbo, just like every other Nigerian who is not a member of the ruling class, has been seriously marginalized in Nigeria and is not even treated decently like a human being. So if we want to talk about the criminalities that has also affected that struggle, let me remind you that it is in this country that we started hearing how Asari Dokubo has been contracted by in certain states to act and bear arms on behalf of the Nigerian state. He said as much inside the council chamber of the Nigerian state in Aso Rock at the beginning of Tinubu's regime when he was there vibrating. We don't even know and cannot say for sure whether this madness can be traced directly to Nnamdi Kanu and his cohorts. I am not his lawyer. I'll let his lawyer handle that. But the fact is this: there is no way to say with certainty that state-sponsored actors are not equally involved in the madness that has overtaken the Southeast. And if you are going to deal with that madness, you would have to go to the root. What is causing the grievances? What is at the root of the grievances? What is it that the Igbo man is complaining about? Why is it that this place has remained in turmoil? If it's just about Nnamdi Kanu, it will be over. You've had him locked up for like 3 years, and even before then, he was mostly on the run. So the point is, take away the grievances, and the agitations will dry up. As long as the head lice persist, the fingernail will remain blood-stained. That is a reality. Nnamdi Kanu might not be to your taste, but you should ask yourself, and I'm saying this to everybody who might have reason to have quarreled with him, as I have, why is his agitation resonating with his people? Because it is true. So if the Nigerian state is interested in dealing with the criminalities and everything, let it go first to the root of the problem, the inequitable treatment of Nigerians. It is just unfortunate that the Igbo man is the one we are speaking about, but there is nothing that ails him today that does not hail each and every Nigerian regardless of where they are. It is inequity. that is at the root of everything.
His agitation does resonate with the people, and there were reports that the Southeast was also represented yesterday, but that's one side of the story. There were also protests against the release of Nnamdi Kanu. We saw some people from the Southeast carrying pictures of those who had been killed in the past few years. But let's talk about another critical part of it, Mr. Farotimi, which is the court order that the police cited repeatedly so yesterday during our sister political program. How do you view this court order against the backdrop of Section 40 of the 1999 Constitution, which guarantees Nigerians' right to protest? And what does this mean for the fate of protest in Nigeria?
Number one, this question should help you to see the lie that is called Nigeria. Constitution. That is suggestive of something that the people came together to give to themselves. A band of bandits wrote what you are calling the Constitution, and the section you are citing is as useless as the persons who crafted it. And I would explain myself. In a democracy, there should never be a need for a police permit before you may have a protest. That the police was informed was so that they will provide security. That a court would presume to curtail the right of citizens to protest peacefully in a democracy is even suggestive of the fact that you are not in a democracy, you are only mimicking and pretending to be in a democracy. It is actually completely unheard of that in a democracy, citizens are required to obtain the permit of their paid employees before they may congregate peacefully. So when you talk about the police and the order it was waving around, I'm sorry. Obasanjo was the president of this country, so was Jonathan. And you don't have to listen to Dele Farotimi, you can listen to the professor of law, Oshibadu. Our judiciary is unfit for purpose. It does exactly as it is told by the executive, and it does not serve the cause of justice. So that they are brandishing something and waving it around, you cannot restrict it. A order is only as useful as its lawfulness. You can say you can arrest those who are violent in protesting, you can arrest those who break the law, but there should never be a situation where you are saying citizens cannot protest. So that the Nigerian police was busy waving an order around. I have been the victim of a court that tried me and sent that remanded me in prison custody on a non-existent law. So what kind of law court order is going to stop citizens who are not out for violence from peacefully showing their displeasure with the government? Why I don't join protests is because I know that they are merely protesting to the deaf. How do you tell the deaf you don't like what is being done to you? A person who is intent on not hearing you, why are you wasting your time shouting at him? It's a waste of time. The Nigerian state is deaf. It does not listen. So those who protest to the Nigerian state, when you talk about protest, it's suggestive of a person saying, no, I'm not happy with what you are doing. And he keeps saying, I'm not happy with this, I'm not happy with this. The expectation is that the person to whom you are protesting have the capacity to hear you, and having heard you, he will recalibrate and do the right thing. It has never happened that the Nigerian state recalibrated and did the right thing. NSAT, they changed the name to SWAT. Today is RRS. It is the character and nature that has not changed. The Nigerian state does not change anything for anybody. It is not interested in pleasing those who presume themselves to be citizens. It doesn't care.
Oh, Mr. Farotimi, quite a number of issues to unpack. I was just looking at one of your posts that you made a few days ago. You talked about a campaign of violence and displacement in northern and middle belt Nigeria, saying it constitutes a calculated, current and long-running genocide against Christian communities and other religious minorities without any reasonable doubt. This is a conversation that is burning. Perhaps in the coming days we'll get to unpack it. But if you were to just speak one line, because we're totally out of time, but that caught my attention. One one line to that.
Let me be clear about this. I am not one of those waiting for America or some other country to come and save us. It is up to us to save ourselves. And I don't need Renault's repackaged American to tell me the truth of what I have been shouting in my country for over 6, 7, 8 years. There is a genocide going on in Nigeria. The Nigerian state is complicit in it, and the victims are largely Christians and other minorities in the Northeast, in the Northwest, and in the Middle Belt. I don't need the Americans to tell me that. And I don't need the Americans to establish the complicity of the APC and the Buhari junta. It was Baraje that told all of us in Nigeria, heard him say it in 2016 at the 78th birthday anniversary. The APC imported terrorists into Nigeria.
Right.
Commodore Lawume was sat in your studio when he informed the whole of Nigerians that as far back as 2016, a list was compiled and given to President Buhari of sponsors of terrorism in his government. And he's also mentioned at that time that there were state governors who were sponsors of terrorism. All these people are still in Nigeria today. I don't need the Americans to tell me what I have seen, what I have heard, and what eyewitnesses have told me. The complicity of the Nigerian state has been established beyond reasonable doubt. And it should stop lying to itself and face the fact of what is before us.
Get some of the lawyers, because Nnamdi Kanu's main lawyer was arrested, and lawyer Jima, his younger brother was arrested, and 11 others. We went to see them, and they gave us a hope, false hope that they'll be released tonight, but we found out on our way here that they'll be moved to the place they call Abattoir, which is one of the reasons why there was NSAS in 2020. It's a major torture chamber of the Nigeria police. So they also tear gas us right in front of their office this evening.
So more than 7 years in detention, almost a decade in fact, and he's still not been found guilty of any crime. And your contention is that in line with the Nigerian constitution, which says that a man is innocent until proven guilty and which calls for the speedy dispensation of justice, it's time to set this captive free. Is that a fair assessment and the reason you led today's protest?
Yes, it is because also the Court of Appeal in 2022 did take a decision, a decisive decision, that having been extraordinarily renditioned from Kenya, kidnapped is the other word for it, there are no charges that can hold in that court, and he was asked to be released. That judgment ought to have taken effect immediately was given. But the Nigerian government did not honor that judgment. They claimed they were going on appeal. An appeal does not constitute a stay when personal liberty is involved. He's been discharged. There's nothing that could have held him except to get a brand new detention order, which they didn't, because they were not interested in any trial. They were interested in subduing and subjugating Nnamdi Kanu for committing a crime against the real estate called Nigeria, which is to say, look, we may want to think about our own country, considering that this country have no respect for our dignity, our culture, and our safety. So I have laid this out before, and I have also looked at the case notes. I worked with the lawyers. I am in a position to tell you when I see a useless case, because I get charged severally for this kind of frivolous cases. Nnamdi Kanu is not being held for committing terrorism. No, it's being held because he is an Igbo man who wants Nigeria to either allow justice to the Igbo man or let the Igbo man be. That is the crime Nnamdi Kanu committed. It's a crime committed with a microphone, not an AK-47.
Right. Okay, I'm going to come back to you in a minute, but Mazi Dixon, I wonder what your reaction, because you kind of lost your voice.
Yes,
there.
I did.
I wonder what your reaction is to the fact that the march that you attended was tumbled, let me put it that way, by the police. They fired tear gas to disperse the protesters, and you apparently fell victim to that show of force and to that tear gas. And clearly, I wonder whether that cast a shadow on things for you, how much it did cast a shadow.
Charles, please permit me first of all to commend my brother here, Showore. I was born 7 years after the Civil War. And for the first time in my adult life, I felt loved as an Igbo man by other Nigerians. Another Nigerian took it upon himself to say enough of this balkanization of fatherland.
Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration, isn't it?
But that's what it is.
Igbos are across the country doing business and attending to their affairs.
That is earned by merit. I'm talking about someone sacrificing his own liberty to say there's a brother in there, because an injury to one should be an injury to all. If we are to build our country, then indeed we must have that understanding that together we should, not by letting some people out of this whole process. So, my brother Showore, thank you. Thank you for showing love to a fellow countryman, because it's difficult. Look at what Nigerians are going through.
But to be fair to Showore, he's shown that same love to
No. I'm talking for myself as an Igbo man.
Okay.
Because the case here is that Nnamdi Kanu being incarcerated today is simply because he comes from that part of Nigeria. Because what's his crime? It's not just about, oh, you're not treating my people fine or not treating my people well. It's also about, this is not how to build a nation. So if we can't build this nation the way it should be, then please, we can't stay here. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if you think there's something wrong with it, call him to the table and discuss what are the issues. Okay, if you are not comfortable, what can we do better to ensure that some of those grounds of yours can be addressed and all that. So sincerely, today again, being that it was peaceful, because it was well declared by the convener of this very protest that it is a peaceful protest, and it was peaceful. But go around Abuja, if this was how the Nigerian police force was tackling insecurity in our country, we won't be here. We won't be discussing insecurity in Nigeria. Nobody could move. We just assembled, and before you knew it, they started, not just tear gas, live bullets were released. Not just at one location. Even when we now said, okay, since you have stopped us from convening around this so-called big men area, we're moving to the people. We moved from there to Beggar, roundabout, and then from there we moved to, they came there and moved us to Otako. They still came that way, tear gassed and all of that, and then moved also to Apo and all that. You now wonder, what is it that the Nigerian government really wants from the Nigerian people?
Right.
For us to be violent? Is it because we decided to be peaceful? Right. So indeed, it's unfortunate that this is the country that we found ourselves, but it cannot continue this way.
Well, Mr. Showore, let me come back to you. The protests obviously gained a lot of traction on social media. You're very influential on social media and beyond. And it probably alarmed the government, especially after the US Embassy cautioned its citizens to stay away from the protest locations in Abuja. Were you surprised that your call for a protest gained as many followers as quickly as it did?
Well, it wasn't only on social media. It happened everywhere around Abuja. We had 6 spots where we had thousands of people converge in march. We were at Utako. We were at Apple, which has the largest crowd.
Turnout, yeah.
We were at Gudu, and we then relocated to the FCT command where we were tear gas, but we were attacked ruthlessly everywhere we went. What these people are telling you is that you cannot be a peaceful person in Nigeria and get away with it.
Yeah.
You can only be violent and get away with it, because if we were terrorists or bandits, as they call them, we could have been walking around Abuja today with ammunition and nobody would come near us. But fortunately or unfortunately, people like me have chosen a non-violent approach to resolving issues. But that doesn't mean that a generation is not coming that will not accept this nonsense.
But I mean, you know that what happens when these protests take place is that they tend to metamorphose into something bigger, and the government knows that beyond the specific case of Nnamdi Kanu, you and other opposition politicians, he's an opposition politician, you often intend to wake up the spirit of the masses who say they're fed up with bad governance. I mean, your movement, by the way, is called Revolution Now.
Yes, and I won't deny that. In fact, I think the traction around this particular protest was beyond just nnamdi Kanu. People are fed up with the system, and they cannot deal with the fact that somebody who hasn't committed any offense known to law, an offense that is triable, that's the way I'll put it, is held in detention. Whereas that same week, the president is pardoning drug dealers, kidnappers, and murderers, and nnamdi Kanu, who you can't establish any offense against, is kept perpetually detained, he's tortured, he's harassed, his lead lawyers were speaking, is in detention.
I have to say that the time is ridiculously long.
Yes.
I mean, upwards of 7 years in detention. I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all.
You see, the larger Nigerian nation is itself an open prison. I spent 5 years here over a boat.
So sort of Gaza.
Yeah. But Gaza is better than Nigeria in some ways.
I wouldn't go that far, to be honest.
Gaza, throughout this period of bombardment, had electricity. so I had some kind of water supply that you can't get here. The sewage was built. I am not in any way saying this so you don't misunderstand me in the future. But Nigeria you can't even define what is wrong with Nigeria. It's like a nation that is at war, with itself and against itself. Yeah. And when you see this happen, what we have experienced with nnamdi Kanu, with terrorists walking around, the federal government even went and attended the naming ceremony of one of the bandits after they met in Katsina, you would ask yourself, why am I here? Why am I in a country like this? And that is probably why most people call nnamdi Kanu a prophet, that he saw into the future that this country is not the kind of country you want to have your children in. And there's nothing wrong if you want your own country. This international law recognizes that. If I declare Shura Republic tomorrow, what are you going to do to me? Arrest me and detain me perpetually? No, it is not done. So what we're saying here, when you see injustice, you know it, and you don't need to be told that the way and manner injustices are handled in Nigeria have colorations. Sometimes it may not be ethnic, but it might be religious, it might be political. I was around throughout Abiola's persecution. Abiola did not declare more than saying, I'm president because I won an election. He died in detention. They kept saying, we were fighting in those days, Abiola is in detention, Abiola is being handled by the courts, it's being handled by the court. He wasn't being tried. The Supreme Court had gone on break. So the same thing that I'm alarmed, and I'm saying this to anybody who is watching, I'm alarmed, I'm shocked that we are in a country where there's anybody who feels what is being done to nnamdi Kanu is okay. And I say this particularly of my Yoruba brothers who make these comments. Some of them even have the audacity to send me messages personally. They'll be sending you all these videos, because your brother is in power. But I was the only person when Sunday Igboho's house was raided and all his people were, including his cat, was killed. I was the only person in this Abuja who went to the Federal High Court who pushed the DSS out of the front of the courtroom. And that was the day his people were granted bail. Nobody talked about. Yeah. There are Yoruba activists who went and invaded a radio station in Ibadan. Have you heard about them anymore? Even Sunday Igboho, my brother, is back. He's actually, he's moving around freely. nnamdi Kanu has never carried a weapon before. Most of these guys have done things like that. Why are we treating the Igbo man differently? And I'm not saying that to whip up something, because I'm ashamed, of course, of these Southeastern leaders. Because when I was on your show last time, you remember, I was saying that nnamdi Kanu is being kept in detention deliberately by Southeastern politicians. They showed themselves in the last few days. The deputy speaker was asking people not to join peaceful protests. All the governors kept quiet about it. The Ohaneze Ndigbo person, I heard is a wicked version of Ohaneze Ndigbo. He's saying that nobody should go out to fight for the freedom of a person who's innocent of any crime. And we are here saying it is normal. It is normal. Even the policemen who were shooting at us today were fighting for them a month ago to get their pension and gratuity. They were the ones shooting at us. They saw me today, came close to me, and they were shooting directly at me. 4 times today. The policemen I fought for. There's something wrong with this country, sir.
Let me ask you this, Dixon Irebu. If Nnamdi Kanu is released today, do you believe that it will stop his group from calling for the Southeast to secede from Nigeria, assuming that is the issue? Or is it something that is beyond him alone, and therefore he should not be held entirely responsible for it? Because I think somebody made the point earlier today that you had the Biafra war before him, and of course groups like Masob, etc., before IPOB.
Yes. If Nnamdi Kanu is released today, first what it will bring is a separation from the call for secession or for the call for Biafra away from the criminals who have wrecked the Southeast today. What we want is to redeem the most peaceful part of Nigeria, which Southeast used to be before 2015, that APC took over our government, and Buhari continued with whatever Buhari started with whatever it is that he had against the Southeasterners. But we thought, okay, Tinubu has come. What is he doing there? If he wants to unite the country, why not bring everybody's interests to the table? So release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu may not necessarily end call for secession or call for Biafra. Biafra is no more about secession, really. Biafra is now more like a religion. Because, Charles, 3.5 million Nigerians were slaughtered in that war. There is no household in Igbo land today you go to that you won't have one person or the other that was lost in their family. So it will be difficult, therefore, to forget Biafra. What will bring about an end to the call for secession will be this country allowing for equity for all, justice for all, fairness for all. That is what will end any form of secession, whether it is Yoruba nation or Biafra nation. I am not part of call for any nation at all. I believe in Nigeria, but not this kind of Nigeria. I want a Nigeria where everybody can at least go to court, ask for justice, and get it. But now it is the highest bidder. We're not running democracy anymore in our country, because if this was democracy, freedom of association and protest as we had today and all of that would have been allowed. What we have are plutocrats who are afraid of the people, because today we saw how scared the elites are. They are scared stiff. They don't want us to get together to indeed demand for our common good. So I am only saying that releasing Nnamdi Kanu so that the criminals can be treated as criminals, so that people will not be committing the kind of crimes that we're seeing in the Southeast in the name of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And I don't think, if the commander-in-chief really understands what he's commanding, I don't think he should continue to give deaf ears to the call for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He should be released as immediately as possible.
Mr. Showore, I wonder how much you were influenced by protests in other parts of the world. I mean, we've had Madagascar recently, we've had Nepal. I mean, these are the kind of things that maybe worry the government. Protests involving people known as Gen Z, and I mean, we saw a whole bunch of them coming here with you. One assumes, of course, as you have yourself repeatedly pointed out, that your approach is different. Because in Nepal, for instance, they burned down everything. But I understand that obviously you want your protests to be peaceful and pacific.
Yes, because I often stated that justice for all, for me, is not specific enough. You know, it's a bogey. And we have to specifically ask for things that would advance the progress of Nigerians or the people who live within the boundaries of a country called Nigeria. I do not believe in violence. That I've stated, but I've been protesting since I was 21 years old. And that's to remind people who are with even Dixon and I, we were arrested in 2021 by Hassan, the DPO of Secretariat.
Nnamdi was brought back from Kenya.
We went to attend Nnamdi Kanu's trial. So I've been at this for a long time. But you know, anybody who is discerning, who is the leader of Nigeria, should know that these young people are watching what's happening in Nepal and other places. Yeah. And, you know, deploying people on social media to discourage them is not going to discourage them. We now heard that there's a coup or an attempted coup. So everything, the jigsaws are coming into place.
Those are reports that are verified. Well, and let me just point out that the Defense Department denied that any such thing took place.
Well, anything they deny is something you should believe, especially when it comes to those kind of issues.
But we have to kind of balance the story.
So, but what I'm saying here is that Nigerians are watching, and you can't use barbed wire to separate them from their leaders forever. One day, they will step over the barbed wires, the tear gas will not work, it won't stop anybody, water cannons will be useless.
Even the bullets, how many
even bullets, the moment you kill a few people,
but I'm wondering, you said you've been protesting since you were 21.
Yes.
I mean, do you, after all those years, do you think that people have a disproportionate amount of power to effect change? Because it doesn't seem to be happening in this, if you like, bifurcated, many channels political world that Nigeria has become, or Nigeria is.
If there was no protest in Nigeria, Nigeria would have gone completely to the dogs. If there hasn't been protests over separate different issues,
even the president today
Nigeria wouldn't have
protest.
Left military dictatorship.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be like Cameroon now, where the person who is president is dead, brain dead, but alive to elections. So nobody should discountenance protests. I met Goodluck Jonathan recently, and I'm glad Aisha is here with us. She has been abusing me about it on her YouTube show, on a lighter note. And I said, can you come protest?
It's not fair to say that she can't reply
she
to you
right
away.
She's my friend, I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay.
But when we spoke up to the point, I said, can you join this protest? She said, no, I'm a former head of state. I can't participate in a protest. I said, but if you run for election and you lose, the first thing you do is to go and protest. Protest, there's nobody in Nigeria that has not participated in protests, from president to high school kids. Buhari was a protester in this country until he became president. Tinubu was funding all the protesters in Nigeria since June 12 and beyond, up to 2015 until they captured power and they now hated protesters. The ones that cannot protest always reach out to people who can help them protest whenever they're in trouble.
Yeah.
I get that from all these people all the time. This nnamdi Kanu that we're talking about once protested on behalf of Orji Uzor when he was being tried for corruption. Orji Uzor is now one of the people who says, oh, Nnamdi Kanu should let the court process be completed. But when he was tried for corruption, what did he do? He ran to the APC because he cannot trust Nigerian courts. These are the kind of people you have in these political parties who are so dishonest and hypocritical.
They don't care about
And like I said, there's a generation watching. And that generation is what the biblical people say that the next Pharaoh may not know Joseph. Abi? Yes.
The Pharaoh.
Pharaoh.
Who knows?
Right. Let me ask you this, because very briefly, because we're almost out of time. A lot of dust has been raised by today's protest, no question about that. But is it likely to make things better or worse for Mr. Kanu? 30 seconds.
It should make it better because...
So guys, let's end this headline with this, let's end this story with this headline on the Twitter space. The Tinubu's government has terminated a project in Abia State because Alex Oti said he's not going to give space for rigging. Alex said, if you want to rig, you better write your will. That means rig and die. And the Tinubu's government has terminated a contract because Alex Oti said he's not going to allow rigging. Federal government terminates CCECC's Port Harcourt Aba contract after Alex Oti's warning that anyone planning to rig in 2027 election should first write their will. So rigging is Tinubu's plan. Tinubu wants everybody to come over to APC. Anybody that publicly opposes it will be punished. You see, this is why many people are, many people are going to the APC, because it's either you accept their offer or they come for you. David Umahi, when the revolution starts, find where to hide though. This is not the reason of the cancellation. Moreover, the work is almost done. It's remaining only the La Panta section of the road, which is in Abia State. Let's get our information right, please. Help, Omai has gone mad again. The professor in practice is now into voodoo governance practice. CCECC contract revoked over fear of being stopped from rigging a Abia State election. And this person said, if you have used that road recently, you understand they should have terminated it earlier. This has nothing to do with Alex Oti, but the terrible job these guys are doing there. Another person said, no worries. Many came before Umahi, like late Senator Mantu or Mr. Fix It from Edo State. If we can still recall vividly, after all the bravado, time faded away their noise. Such is life, but mere mortals will never learn. Democracy in Nigeria, government of APC, by APC, and for APC. It's like that. Even, I don't know, politics in Nigeria still needs good refining, honestly. Because it's just like that. Any party that wins, you favor the people in your party. And when you borrow the money, the whole Nigeria will pay. And if Nigerians who happen to belong to states that are not with the center will suffer, but they will pay for the loan. So sad. Just look at these bad people. They kidnap people everywhere, rape and murder. These politicians do not care about, okay? This person is talking about the insecurity. Yeah, these politicians don't care. Another person here said, anything about this current government is lies, deceit, and evil. We citizens must do anything at any cost to make sure APC don't exist after 2027. Really, Nigerians, this should be a mandate. Make sure APC does not exist after 2027. Nigeria's democracy run by APC for APC and all about the APC. Dave Umar, you do this one. They feel this money is their personal inheritance. Honestly, and will only develop roads and the states that is ruled by APC. We should stand firm and vote him out of Aso Rock, honestly. It's really, really so sad. They really think that this money is just theirs, you know. They borrow this money on behalf of the entire Nigerians to pay, but when they want to do the work, they focus on APC states. That's why every governor must move to the center, you know. When it starts to happen, please, someone should leave Tulumbu for me. Someone should stay far away from Tulumbu and Omai. This person say, and goods from Rivers and Abia will still follow APC and vote for these devils. Make una leave Omai for me whenever revolution starts. Hey, this other person say, it's a shame how they want things the other way for their selfish interests after claiming to be a good set of concentration, only to discover it is a smoke green towards their evilness. Rig and die, that's small compared to what Abia has suffered for 24 years. Federal government should go to hell, honestly. This person say Yaribas don't want progress that's not in line with their selfish desire. So I believe Alex Oti can find a way to work with Chinese companies directly as a governor. A clear result of them planning to rig. No democracy in Nigeria anymore. Tinubu and Umai are so shameless. Power play at the expense of the people's well-being. These are leaders, are demons. So you can see how Nigerians are responding. This other person said the people are the collateral damage, that they don't consider anything that has to do with you. Vote them out 2027. Now this on a president face, they make me fear. Federal government and co can do all they can, but we love Alex Oti forever. He is a good man indeed. So guys, this is now a reality. Why are they scared of rig and die? I'm not worried. They will be amazed to see Alex Oti seeking approval to continue from where they stopped. Tinubu is a wicked man, plus other very evil attitudes. So these are some of the reactions from Nigerians when this news broke that the project will be stopped because Alex Otti told them it is rigged and that. Let me know how what your take is on this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bell notification. Thank you.